Okay, so we learned 1-point and 2-point perspective. Now I'm going to show you how to take 2-point perspective and turn it into a city style drawing. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is a horizon line. And in the practice we didn't worry too much that the horizon line was perfectly straight, but we do need to make sure that it is straight from now on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure, and I measure down to about 5 inches for this paper, but that is up to you how high you want your horizon line. Again, it's where the sky meets the earth on your drawing. So I did another 5 inches there, and then I'm going to line the ruler up with those 2 marks that I made, and that way I know that the horizon line is straight across. I'm going to do 2 vanishing points because our city is going to be at the perspective of 2-point perspective. So I have 2 vanishing points on my paper. Again, I put them close to the edge of the paper. I did not put them really centered here because then your city would have to be very compressed. So we want to have some room to work. All right. So the way that you start doing a city is you're going to start with 2 roads. I'm going to line my ruler up with the left vanishing point, and where it ends up here is completely up to you. That's wherever you want your road to end. So I'm going to draw a line, and a road is a double line, so I'm going to then move it. Again, this always goes to the vanishing point, and I'm going to draw a second line. So we have a line that goes back to the vanishing point. I'm then going to crisscross it the other direction so we can create what's like a city block. So I'm going to use the right vanishing point, and I'm going to draw my line. I'm going to make it a double line because we need to have the road as a double line. Okay, so now we have an intersection here of where 2 roads crisscross. Okay. So what we're going to start with is right here in this corner where the city block starts. We're going to start with our first building. The first building is always the hardest, but once you get through that one, the rest can be easier. So I'm going to line my ruler up, and I'm making sure that it is very straight by lining this side of the ruler so it is level with the paper. And right in this corner right here, I'm going to draw a line, and this is just the way that we did the 2-point perspective when we had a line below the horizon line. It is exactly the same. We're just doing it in a little bit different context. All right, so I'm going to use that line, and I'm going to connect it to the right vanishing point, and I'm going to draw a short line, and I'm going to take the top of that line and connect it to the left vanishing point, oops, and draw a short line. Okay, and then I need to draw 2 vertical lines to close off that building. Again, I'm lining this up with the paper so that I know that it is vertical, and I'm going to draw a straight line. I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm lining it up with the paper to make sure that it is vertical. I'm going to draw my straight line. Okay. All right, and then because it is below the horizon line, you can see a little bit of the roof of the first building. Anything below, you can see the roof. Anything above, you cannot. So I'm going to take this corner here, and I'm going to line it up with the left vanishing point, and I'm going to draw my line. And then I'm going to take this corner here and line it up with the right vanishing point, and then draw my line. Right. There you have your first building. Again, this one's the hardest one, so once you get through this one, then you can see how to do the additional ones. So if I wanted a building right next to that building, all I have to do is use the side of that building and decide how tall I want the next building. I'm going to do a little bit of shorter building, and I'm going to line it up with the right vanishing point, and this is how tall I wanted my next building, and I'm going to draw my line. Then I'm going to do a straight line down, like this. Okay. And then because it is below the horizon line, you can see the roof again. So I'm going to line this corner up with the left vanishing point and draw my line. You can't see the back side because it's behind that building. So let's try a tall building. So I'm going to do a tall building that is behind these. So I'm making sure my line is vertical by lining it up with the bottom of the page. And then I'm going to draw a line that goes up above the horizon line. Just like we did before, everything on the right goes to the right vanishing point. Everything to the left goes to the left vanishing point. So at the top of that line, I'm going to line that up with the right vanishing point. And I'm going to draw a line. I'm going to line it up with the left vanishing point. And I'm going to draw my line. Okay. I'm going to then do a vertical line from this corner straight down. And because it's behind that building, I'm not going over that building. And the same thing here. Make sure it's straight. Straight line down. Then you have 3 buildings. If you notice that anything below the horizon line, the lines are going up. Anything below, or sorry, anything above the horizon line, the lines are going down. You cannot see the roof of anything above the horizon line. All you see is the top like that, not the roof like these. Okay. All right, say that I wanted another tallish building over here. All right, so I'm going to line the ruler up with the side of that building, and I'm going to draw the line. And then to the left vanishing point, draw my line. To the right vanishing point, draw my line. And again, it's kind of behind that building, so you don't see the whole thing. And then a straight line down. And that's all you have to do. You keep building your buildings, and you can add doors and windows, but that's how you get started. Okay, so I continued on and made a few additional buildings in my cityscape here. And I used the same rules that I was following in the earlier demo. Everything to the right side goes to the right vanishing point. Everything to the left goes to the left vanishing point. Anything below the horizon line, you can see the tops. Anything above, you cannot. Okay, but I did want to show you a couple other detailed work. One is putting a building over on this side, and the other is adding windows and doors to your city. So the first thing I want to do is I want to add a building on this side of my paper. What I'm going to do is I'm going to line up the vanishing point with however tall I want my first building. Now anything over here or over here is going to overlap some of your other drawing, but that is okay. Okay, so I'm going to do a building right about here. Okay, so it's lined up with that vanishing point. I'm then going to do a straight line down from that line to this part of the road. Straight line down right here. Okay, and then you can erase all this because that is inside of the building. Then we have to do the back side, and this is below the horizon line so we can see the top. So I'm going to take this corner and I'm going to line it up with the right vanishing point and draw a line. I'm going to take this corner and line it up with the right vanishing point and draw my line. To close this off, I need to line it up with the left vanishing point. So I'm lining my lines up with that left vanishing point, and I'm going to draw my line. And that creates the top of the roof, and again, anything inside of that you can erase because this building is in front of those. Now, the bottom of here goes off of the page, but I'm going to pretend that I see that right about there. And I'm going to line that up with the right vanishing point, and I'm going to draw a short line. And then I'm going to connect these two with a vertical line. Again, I'm going to make sure that it is vertical, and I'm going to connect my line like that. Okay. So then you have your building on this side of the road. You can add more if you would like. If you wanted another one over here, again, you're going to do the top of it first, right here, and do a straight line down. Okay, and then you see the roof because it is below the horizon line. And the back side of that goes to this vanishing point. And anything on the inside of that, again, you erase because this building is in front of that. Okay. When it gets to right about here, it gets a little tricky because it's right in line with the vanishing point, so you don't really see the side like you did on this one. Okay. All right, so windows and doors. If you're going to create windows and doors, which you do have to in this project, you do have to follow the rules of perspective for that. If you don't, it's not going to look believable. All right, say that I wanted to put a door on this building right here. If it's on this side of the building, it goes to the right. If it's on this side of the building, it goes to the left. So let's put a door on the right side here. I'm going to line it up however tall I want my door with the right vanishing point. And I'm going to draw a short line. Okay, then I'm going to draw two vertical lines. These again have to be straight. If they're crooked, they're going to look like it's leaning. Okay, and then if you want to do a straight line in the middle, you can. Say that I wanted maybe a glass window on top of that. I'm going to line this up again with my vanishing point, and I'm going to draw my line. I'm going to move this up again. I'm going to line it up with my vanishing point, and I'm going to draw my line. And then I'm going to do a vertical line and a vertical line. Okay, so that could be a window, or it could be a sign of the name of the building, but it does need to go with the vanishing point. Any horizontal line that you have on your paper needs to go to one of the vanishing points. If it's not, you're not doing it right. Okay, so say that I wanted like glass windows in this building because that's like city windows. So I'm going to line it up with the left because I'm on the left side, and I'm drawing a line. And all they are for the big long glass buildings are a series of lines that go to the vanishing point. I am always lining this up with a vanishing point, and if you can see, the lines are starting to change direction. When I first started the windows, they were going this way. Now they're going straight, and in a few minutes they're going to start to go this way. So again, you do have to use the rules of perspective in order to do that. And then for the other side of the building, I'm going to line this part of the line up with the right vanishing point, and then I'm going to connect those. But you have to use those vanishing points. That's what makes this two-point perspective. The whole purpose of this project is to learn how to draw in a way to make things look like they're going back into space. And this is the way you do that, by following these guidelines. If I were just doing horizontal lines all the way across, this would not look to be a believable city building. Okay. And then I would continue down here. One more. So I could do that through them all. If the horizon line is getting in the way of your artwork, you may erase that at this point, but keep those vanishing points so you know where they are. Okay, say that I wanted to put an awning on something. An awning is like an overhang of fabric. I'm going to put an awning on this building. So I'm going to line it up with the right vanishing point because I'm working on the right side of that building. And I'm going to draw my line so that it overhangs just a little bit from that building. I'm going to do a separate line right underneath it that's the same way. Okay. Then I'm going to curl this end right here. Alright. And then I'm going to do a series of stripes, because usually like awnings like that have striped fabric on it. So then I have an awning. If I wanted this to be a big huge door, that's all I have to do there. Alright, so you can also do windows like the old-fashioned kind of windows. What I typically do is line it up with the vanishing point and draw a couple of lines, bottom to, okay, and then straight vertical lines from there. And you can have the individual windows if you would like. But the tops and the bottom have to be lined up with the vanishing point. Okay, keep practicing and practice doing buildings, doing windows, doors, awnings, signs, and then you will move to the next step, which is making this drawing your own by adding your own details to it.